All right, guys, don't forget about Underdog Wireline, man. I'm doing a quick shout out for these guys. You know, they've been sponsoring us since day one almost, man. So it's a great guys, great company. You know, if you need a logged, perfed, you know, they do completion, open hole. They got they got drop guns, man. They got lay down machines. They got all kinds of stuff, dude. So check them out. Don't forget, I'm gonna put the number up right here. Look them up, man. They're great people. They know how to get it done. I worked with them personally out here, you know, especially on the wireline side. So I know exactly what they're doing. Their hands are out there helping out. So I've said it before. I'll say it again, man. Hit them up. They're the best out here. Give them a shout out, dude.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Patch Boys again, here to announce yet another sponsor, Branded 14 Hot Shot Services LLC. They offer hot shot work, ESP spooling, ESP technician service, and heavy hauling with semis. These guys are local. They're helping us out, so we want to help them out. Go give them a call at 432-638-1755. All the other information we're going to put right down here, so you guys can give them a call, send them an email, however you need to get in contact with them. We appreciate it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Patch Boys back again for another episode, a very special episode. We got Mr. Judd Campbell here, a mayoral candidate for 2025. Man, we're really just gonna get right into it and let him, you know, kind of introduce himself how he wants to be introduced, right? So
sounds good. Thanks, guys, for having me. I appreciate it. I'm running for mayor, as you mentioned. We're on I think a really dangerous path right now financially for our city. We're spending more than we have. We're having to take on more debt. That's not good. We're having to raise taxes. That's not good. And the truth is that we have enough money to do the things that we need to be doing, but we're not focused and prioritizing those things. So we're not taking care of our roads. We're not taking care of our public safety, the things that are priorities for our city. And so we're in a really bad situation, and we really got to turn it around. So that's why I'm running for mayor. I want us to have a city that really works for the Midlanders, the people that live here. And I don't think that we're doing that right now. And so we need representation like that at the leadership. And so that's what I want to do.
Nice. Yeah, man. Thank you so much for giving us the time. And I think so much of what we've been hearing and what's been coming out what is financially driven, right? So my question is, and maybe for the rest of the people that don't really know you, haven't read up on you, stuff like that, why do you believe you're in a much better position to run this this city financially?
Well, first of all, I'm a CPA. I've been an accountant CPA for almost 25 years. I've worked for accounting firms for most of that time. And then earlier this year, I started my own firm. So I work for myself now. And so I have the knowledge, skills, and experience for financial management. So to be able to understand the financial situation, understand the financials, ask the right questions, which is really, really important, is asking the right questions so that we have accountability in place.
Yeah. Wow. That's pretty good though. I mean, you know, one thing I want to ask you, how hard is it to run for mayor? Like, you know, like people think about it, well, I would like to be a mayor of my town one day. Like, how is it hard? Is it a lot of work? Is it intimidating? I mean, I'm kind of curious.
So, well, sort of all of those things. Sure, it's certainly time consuming. The campaign is time consuming. You want to go meet as many people as possible, talk to as many people as possible, and especially for me, I want to hear from the people, and I want people. This is a voter driven campaign. You may have seen my signs where I have a blank on there where you can fill in the blank on what your concern is with the city, and I want people to actually write things on there. Take a Sharpie and go right on your sign and share that with me. And I've had a lot of people that have done that. We put that on social media, on Facebook and everything. So we can have the voice of the people really get out there and be a part of the campaigning. So that's an important part of it for me. You know, of course, the challenging thing is, you know, there are detractors out there that will, you know, say things about you that is, of course, you know, disheartening, and a lot of those are lies, and it's like, well, and you just have to let that go. You know, people are going to do that, and you know people are going to do that, but stay focused on the things that are really driving us, you know, and that comes down to fiscal responsibility and representing our citizens. So,
yeah. No, that's good. Yeah, I mean, The internet's pretty vicious. It can be vicious with anybody. It's undefeated, as they like to say, right? There's not much you can say about it. But yeah, I mean, I like that you're trying to involve as many citizens as possible, right? To get involved. It's one of the things that we try to do here is not so much push so hard. We will when we really believe in a candidate or what's going on. Obviously, in this case, we're getting to know you, right? So it's kind of, for the listeners, that's kind of what we really want to do. So tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, where you were born, where you were raised, and throughout your life, where you've been and what you've done.
Sure. I was born and raised in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I went to OU. That's where I got my accounting degree. And then I worked for an accounting firm there in Oklahoma City for a few years. I went to work for Hertz, the rental car company. I worked for the corporate the corporate office, and then their regional office. That took me to Atlanta, Georgia, for a couple of years. I left Hertz and went back to public accounting. My wife at the time, she was from Odessa. Her parents lived in Odessa, so we made the decision to move to Odessa back in 2007, and I joined a firm there in Odessa. Well, a regional firm, so we had offices Odessa, Midland, and worked there. Became a partner there, and then we merged with even a bigger firm called Whitley Penn. So I worked for Whitley Penn up until this year. I have 3 kids from my previous marriage, 2018 and 15,
Wow.
and 2018 and 14. Sorry,
Hey, I get the same
Somebody's
thing.
gonna get mad. Take it easy on them.
she's almost 15, so she's just right around the corner. And then I have I now am married to Robin, and she has twin girls from her previous marriage, and then we have a 3-year-old, so we have 6 kids altogether.
That's fantastic.
It is fantastic.
Yeah.
And then like I said earlier this year, I started my own firm working for myself, and so been in Midland now for about 9 years. Midland is home. My wife, her family, she's a 3rd-generation Midlander. Her grandparents lived here. They've now passed, but her parents are here. She's got aunts and uncles and siblings here. Our kids are here. This is home.
Yeah.
And so we really want the best for Midland. And, that's the motivating factor in me running for mayor.
So one question I got for you: are y'all rebels or y'all dogs? That's what I want to know.
Dogs.
Man, you're hearing it. You know what's funny? My daughters are gonna be bulldogs. It's just, oh
You
man,
can use my address.
yeah. I mean, yeah. It's hard because my home is split. Obviously, my wife is a bulldog, and I'm a rebel, and it gets tough sometimes because I'll tell her, like, man, we could choose to send them to Lee. She'll fight back a little bit. So, but right now, like, we really want them to go to San Jacinto because it's right down the block. So it's kind of difficult to. Whatever, I might, I look all right in purple. It's no big deal, right?
No, you don't. You don't.
I
man.
look good in purple, bro. I'm not gonna lie to myself and say I don't, but yeah, man, I like hearing all that stuff. How different is it? Your family's back in Oklahoma still?
So most of my family is passed. I had a small family, and my dad passed away a couple of years ago. My mom lives in Florida. She's retired and lives there. And then I have a brother and a sister that are spread out. We're kind of all over the place, New Jersey and North Carolina. So
All right, so nice. So roots dug in Midland.
So
I like
Midland is certainly my home.
it. All right,
That's
I
good.
love that.
And
I
I've
love
seen
that.
I looked up some things on you. You were like on the board of Odessa Commerce, right? And then you were on
Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, you're on the Knights of Columbus. You're at St. Anne's School Board. So I mean, it seems like you like to serve a lot. You know what I'm saying? And so, what, you always been that way, or you just like it just falls in your lap? Are you always looking for it, or?
Well, I certainly want to make sure that taking care of the things that are important to me. So, and that means giving back to the community where I feel like I have an opportunity and skills to do that. I want to make sure that I'm doing what I'm bringing something to the table, right?
Yeah.
And so in those instances, I feel like I can do that. The school board is really important to me. Our kids go to St. Anne's, and so I want the best for St. Anne's, and I feel like me being on the board can help do that. Make sure we have the school board's given the right direction to how our the kids, I mean, that's super important, right? How our kids are educated. And I want to make sure that's on the right path. And I feel like I can, certainly provide an asset there.
So like you,
Awesome.
so like this, did this come like to you, like, or you like the decision to run for mayor? Like, was it like one night you just woke up, or like one morning, or like how did it happen? I mean, I'm just kind of curious about
Well, it came about, my wife and I have been pretty involved in speaking out to the city. We had some concerns. We've seen some things go on just generally in our community. There's been a couple of bond issues that have come up. The school bond, the $1.4 billion school bond a couple of years ago, that we, had some real concerns about and spoke out against that. I thought that was an excessive amount of money for us to be spending for the size of our community. That eventually passed. Then the Midland College came about earlier this year, and they wanted a $450 million bond, which was, based on what I could see, was even worse. I mean, just way, way unnecessary. So nothing against Midland College. I'm glad that we have a junior college here. My wife attended Midland College for a time. So, that's good. It's good that we have Midland College, but $450 million bond was just way, way over the top. And when I ask questions about what's in it, and we start to look at the details and realize that it's not furthering the purpose that they say that it's doing. It's not necessary. It's just way over the top. And so, and that's not good for Midlanders. And so getting involved in that, and then seeing, the mayor not really taking a position on that, not representing the Midlanders. I mean, it's pretty obvious to me that wasn't a good thing, but not taking a side either way. Like, these are big issues for our city, and we need leadership that takes ownership of what's happening in our city. The mayor's response was, well, Midland College can do what Midland College wants to do. That's a different taxing entity. Well, yeah, I get that. You don't have, as the mayor, you can't control what Midland College or MISD does, but you have a lot of influence. Man, and Midlanders need a voice speaking out for them. We need somebody that's representing them. And I was really disappointed in how that was handled. A couple of other things. There's Midland Development Corporation, or MDC, is a economic development part of the city. It's a sort of a separate entity, but it's under the city. Yeah. And they give out a lot of money. And that's, I've been really concerned about how that's going down the
distributing.
Exactly. So one of the big projects that they've done is a new luxury hotel in downtown Midland.
Yeah, that's the big one.
And, that I thought was just a terrible, terrible decision on so many levels. It's the biggest project that the MDC has funded since it's been in existence, which has been about 25 years. And the Midland Development Corporation was set up to help diversify and stabilize our economy, right? Yeah. So we're investing in manufacturing and industrial projects that would help stabilize us with the ups and downs of the oil business. When you take that money, and it's more than 25% of all of the money that they've ever distributed is going to this one project. And this project is not manufacturing or industrial. It doesn't diversify our economy. In fact, it's very much dependent on the oil and gas business. Yeah. If the oil market goes through the floor, then nobody's staying at a $300 or $400 a night hotel in downtown Midland.
Yeah, we're just gonna have a nice building sitting empty.
Empty, exactly. Yeah. And so that's not benefiting Midlanders at all. That's, I think, just an utter waste of money. Right. It's a poor financial investment, even if you take all of those factors out of play, and you just look at the financial aspect of it and say, we're going to put this much into it. So MDC is putting $45 million in cash. Sort of unspoken in that is that they're also giving them the land to build the hotel on. The MDC bought that land. There was a building on it, the Western United Life building, that the MDC paid to demolish, and then gave that land to the hotel. All in, the MDC spent about $15 million on that property to get it ready for them to be able to give it away. So we gave them $45 million in cash, And then we gave them a piece of land that we had spent another $15 million on. So now we're up to $60 million. The city comes in and gives tax incentives to abate some of the taxes that they would have to pay, and that amount to about $40 million on the estimates of the city. So we've put about $100 million into this hotel that is supposed to be about $175 million all in to spend. So the taxpayers have funded over half of it, which I don't think is appropriate just generally.
Yeah, that is wild. I mean, I think they've done it a few times too, right? They were talking about it with Bass Pro or Costco's too. I think like we put the money up for it and all that stuff, and it's kind of confusing for somebody who just doesn't really know. And I know you're a CPA and you probably understand a lot more than I do on that, but that's what kind of gets me is that stuff is like. It's weird how they do that, and like what you're saying about the hotel, that's a lot of money that we're putting in, and we're not getting it back, and then we're the ones footing up for the taxes, right? I'm guessing. Or
so that MDC is funded by a sales tax that we could, if we didn't have the MDC, one option would be to have that sales tax money. It's about $16 million a year right now that goes into the MDC. That we could have that go into our general fund that would help us with a lot of the priorities that we have in the city. So that would be a significant amount of money that we could, I think, direct in a better way. And Costco is another example of something that, I think is outside of the bounds. So to be clear, the MDC is legally bound to spend the money on manufacturing and industrial projects. So that is actually in the law. It's in their charter. So going outside of that to do a hotel project, to do a Costco project, I think is illegal, and they shouldn't be legally allowed to do it. There's very little accountability for that, and there's just not a real good process for that to be held accountable. But we need leadership that respects what those rules are and respects what those bounds are. That's what the citizens voted for the MDC, but they voted for manufacturing and industrial economic development, and that's not what we're getting at all.
Right.
Costco's similar, it doesn't fall into those bounds. It's also we gave what amount we gave about $6 million in cash to them. We also gave them spent some money on the infrastructure out there, the roads right around there, so that they could build it. So the MDC funded what looks like around $11 million. It's hard to get all of the details out of the city on exactly how that worked, but it looks like they spent MDC itself spent about $11 million on that project. So, and then the city comes in again and is giving tax abatements for the next 10 to 20 years, and which, doesn't benefit the citizens at all. And so it's a bad financial deal, frankly. When you look at, they put together projections on how it's going to impact tax revenues down the road. And for it to make up, for all that tax money to make up what the investment is that we're putting in, it's not a good return. I mean, you could put your money in a basic mutual fund in the stock market and you would make way more money than what you're going to get out of the deals that they're making. And they're telling us, oh, this is a great deal for our city. And it's just not. And so it's either a lack of knowledge, that the financial knowledge, people don't understand, the people that are making these decisions don't understand the finances, or it's, willful that, that they don't care about that. And they're more concerned about, having these sorts of projects in town. Either way, it's just unacceptable that we're doing this, and we need to make that change.
That's wild. Man, that's a lot of information that most of us don't get, right? I think a lot of the argument for these things are, we're bringing job diversity to Midland, and I don't think people think about the cost that goes into that, and exactly where. I mean, the oil is still gonna drive it, no matter what we do. We know that about this city, right? Speaking of the incumbent Mayor Lori Blanc, right? She's going to be joining us as well. So we're going to get to speak to her about these things. But a lot has been made about them facilitating information or the lack of them facilitating information, financial information. It's kind of just trickling out. We've seen stuff online about the expenditures on whatever food or whatever, just luxurious things. In your opinion, are those things just lack of oversight, or is it something that everyone would have to be okay and involved with doing those things for those to go unseen or unchecked, stuff like that, and negligence in other words, right?
Yeah, well, the bottom line is we've got to have transparency, and that's a word that it's like, well, what is, I don't know,
It's almost like a taboo word in politics, right?
And it's like, what does that really mean, right? I mean, transparency. Why do we really care about transparency? I mean, I want to go live my life. Whether the city's going to show me information about this or that, why do I really care? Well, transparency is essential for us to have accountability, right? If we can't see what's going on, then there's no way to hold the city accountable for what's going on. And if nobody's being held accountable for what's going on, well, you can't have fiscal responsibility.
Yeah.
So, that means people can spend money on whatever they want to. And if nobody sees that they're doing it, then there's no way to hold them accountable for how that's happening.
Right.
And if you put light on those things, people are going to make decisions differently. If they know that, okay, I'm going to spend my money this way, or the city's money this way, use my credit card and the city credit card in this way, then I'm going to think about that differently, and think, okay, well, there's going to be scrutiny because there might be somebody out there that's going to be looking at this and asking questions, right? And so that is where it matters for us. If we want to control our finances and we want to control our taxes and our debt, the things that matter for us to live our lives and make Midland affordable and a good place to live, then we have to have that transparency.
Yeah.
I don't know who all knows about, those transactions. It's concerning that it's the main thing is it's concerning that the city is not forthcoming with that information. Why would we not share the details of transactions on employee credit cards? That seems and not just employees, we're talking about senior management at the city. And why would we not share those details? Why would we not? What is it about that we wouldn't want the public to know?
Right.
I think it's extremely important that the public know particularly how our senior management is spending spending city money. And so we've got to be open. We got to be transparent about that.
Yeah. And how would you go about doing that? Is it something that in the city website or something you would just put up financials, or not financials but expenditures, or how would you go about doing that to where the public actually has access? Like kind of like President Trump, like, I'm going to put everything on on X or Truth Social and letting you guys see for yourselves or whatever. Like, how would you go about doing that? Because I imagine like all the day-to-day expenditures and projects and everything going on being extremely busy. Do you just assign somebody like, hey, your job is to, if somebody asks, give them the information, the proper information? I imagine some stuff has to be confidential, or some stuff has to be kept tight for the time being, or until whatever project is completed. Like, how do you go about doing those things, or what plan would you have for transparency?
I think as much as if we can put online, the better.
Yeah.
We need it to be easily accessible. So I would push to do as much of that as we can. Now there's limitations maybe on how that can all be done from technology purposes and whatever else. But my priority would be to have as much of that available online as possible, because it's discouraging if you have to ask for it, right? That discourages people from getting access to it, and that limits transparency. So even the process of having to ask for it, I think, is a barrier to transparency. So as much as we can have online, I would push for that. Awesome. If there are reasons that we can't have that, whether it's technology or just feasibility just doesn't work out very well, then we need a process in place where those requests can be made and fulfilled easily. And so I would make that a priority, that we have those processes in place. Our city attorney has to be involved in some of that. And so the city attorney answers to the council. And so I would push our council to do that, to make that a priority for the city.
Yeah.
Wow,
Thank you for that answer.
yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, he's right though. I mean, like I think the same thing, especially all that stuff that just happened with MDC. You know, with all the expenses and stuff going out, it's crazy too. You know, I haven't even been a Cowboy Prime, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
and like I say, you know, the incumbent mayor Lori Blanc will be here, right? And of course, we'll ask her the same thing. So I wanted to mention that before I ask that question, because obviously we're not here to point fingers or to do anything like that. It's a simple question of stuff that is readily available out there for you guys to see. It's on Facebook. And if you're just reading and paying attention, you guys will see what I'm talking about. And even we can share it, no big deal, and share it on our platform so you guys know what we're talking about. And obviously we'll get her answer to it as well. But thank you very much for that answer. And it was a very good answer. And I think that is something necessary. It's something that when we voted for Donald Trump, it's one of the big things that was that we wanted. We wanted transparency, and now every move that he makes, he posts on Truth Social, and it's just good to know what's going on, right? And not having to rely on the news and this and the other, or even people like us who could say whatever we want to say and have really, people aren't very responsible with their words anymore. It's just one of those things that happens now. So I just wanted to say that before we continue, right? But I did want to ask kind of a question outside of the realm of finances, right? Because there are two different people in the city, right? They're the people that are 100% with the Renew Midland, right? Renew Midland, make it bigger, better, shinier, prettier. And then they're the people who are, it's a waste and we're an oil town and let's just leave it that way, right? So honestly, I feel like I sit right in between those two. I'm Switzerland, as people like to say, right? But those are the two big factions right here. And how do you go about appeasing that side, the side of the new age oil tycoons, right? The big oil now really wants to have a pretty place, a nice place to invite people to come work and bring people over to live here and stuff like that. So, and they're so ingrained in our, city, our local government and everything. How do you go about combating those forces? Because there's strong forces whenever it comes to being financially responsible, right? It does tie into that. And where do you sit with the Renew, and do you sit in the middle like we do, or do you have a side? How do you feel about that? Hey everybody, Patch Boys here. We want to do this quick short so we can provide some information about our new sponsors, Underdog Wireline. You can see I'm wearing their merch here. So I just want to tell you a few things that they provide. Of course, they're in Wireline. In Wireline, they provide pump down, logging, pipe recovery services, and as well production work. And some of the other stuff that they provide, they have emergency shower trailers and cool down trailers for rent. At the end of this, we're going to put their contact information. They believe in us, we believe in them, and I think we're a match made in heaven. We appreciate all the support, and we hope that you support Underdog Wireline as well. Thank you guys. Hey, what's up everybody? Patch Boys here, showing the new merch drop from Tejas Hustle, man. Man, they got amazing hats. They just gave us a plethora of hats to show off. We got some corduroy hats, nice and soft, light as a feather. Some trucker hats, man, that you're used to wearing out in the patch. Looking amazing. We got some hunting gear. You know what I'm saying? Orange love right there. And this hat that we're wearing right now, which Ricky's going to gush over in just a few seconds, man. We appreciate it. We appreciate Texas Hustle for hooking us up, man, making us look good.
Oh, yeah, man. We love it, man. We appreciate all the support. Like he said, I'm loving this hat, bro. This hat right here, look, man, it looks good on both of us, bro. And we got two different types of heads. So check them out, man. And, these guys support us. If you're looking for any shirts, you're looking for any decals, you're looking for any cowboy gear, something, man, check them out at TejasHatco.com. Look at their links on the bottom of our description on the episodes, and you can be able to get them. So support them like you support us. If you love us, you love the Permian Basin, you love the oil and gas industry, you love this local thing we got going, check them out, man, because they're doing great stuff, and we appreciate their support.
Shop local, and don't forget, keep on hustling, baby.
There you go.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Patch Boys again, here to announce yet another sponsor, Branded 14 Hot Shot Services LLC. They offer hot shot work, ESP spooling, ESP technician service, and heavy hauling with semis. These guys are local. They're helping us out, so we want to help them out. Go give them a call at 432-638-1755. All the other information we're going to put right down here, so you guys can give them a call, send them an email, however you need to get in contact with them. We appreciate it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Patch Boys here. Blessed again to be announcing another sponsor for us. This one's going to be Titan. They're running out of crane. They're real close to me. It's family. So we want you guys to support them like they support us, right? So they're running out of crane. If you want to get in contact with them, it's 432-307-1960. Some of the stuff that they offer right now, if they have rustabout maintenance crews, trash trailers, porta potties, combo trailers, forklifts, and they're adding more stuff every single day. So if you guys want to support them so they can continue to support us and give you all the content that you want, go ahead and give them a call. Thank you.
Well, I would probably put myself in the middle. I think my main thought about all of that is that any growth, any development that we have has to be for the good of the city and the people of the city, right? So when we talk about like the luxury hotel, okay, that's not good for the people of Midland. And so
here, yeah.
I don't have a problem with us having a luxury hotel in downtown Midland. If the Omni or Marriott or whoever wants to come build a luxury hotel in downtown Midland, that is great. Come do it. Come start your business, open your business in Midland.
Take your risk.
I would love for you to do that. And you spend the money and you take the risk and you get the profits from it.
Right.
We don't need to be spending city money, our citizens' money on things like that, unless there is a real tangible reason that is going to be a benefit for our citizens.
Yeah.
And so I think my concern is that we get distracted by those shiny things and saying, okay, well, we could have these nice things in Midland if we spend millions of taxpayer dollars to do it. Well, that's not a good thing. We shouldn't be doing that. And we need to make sure that we have what our Midlanders need in taking care of our infrastructure, of our roads, our police, our fire. Those are the things that matter to the people that live here.
Yeah.
And we need to be making sure we're doing those priorities first and we're spending our money on those things first. And some of that's not even money, right? It's just a matter of a culture. It's having an attitude of support for those things, respect for our people. We need to have that. Yeah. And I think that's where we can get distracted. And I think the city has gotten very much distracted, by the shiny ball in the corner, that, oh yeah, this looks great and this would be really cool. Yeah, but that's not what we need to be spending our resources on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is what I mean. And I think one thing that, just to come back kind of to that, is one thing that you said on CBS 7 was there's a lot of big money in Midland that seems to have a lot of influence on politics, but we have the people that live here that really pay the consequences of that. And I think that's true. I mean, we've seen in the last elections, it seems like a lot of big money, big oil money, just trying to really push certain politicians. And I'm kind of curious what you think. Like, can you narrate a little bit more on that, what you're thinking or what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that those big oil companies, for the reasons that you mentioned, right, they have a big influence in our economy. And so when it comes to local politics, it's natural that they would have a big influence there too. But our leaders need to be representing the people, not the big oil money. And it's not because we don't want the big oil money here. We don't want oil business here. It's ingrained here. It's ingrained here. It's a part of what Midland is. And what I want is for Midland to be the best Midland can be, right? Yeah. I think we get this in our head, like it's going to be a tourist city, or we're going to be like a Dallas or a San Antonio or something like that. I don't want us to be like something else. I want us to be Midland. Right. And when it comes to even the big oil companies, right? They have people that they bring in, it's sort of a stop on their career path, right? That they get a relocation to Midland. And wouldn't it be great if people, looked at their time in Midland as a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, this is my time in Midland. And I'm excited to get to spend that time in Midland, because Midland is different than all of these other places. And let's make sure that we're making Midland be the best that Midland can be, and not trying to do and be something that we're not.
Yeah.
And so that's where I think our focus needs to be, and we need leaders that have a real strong mind for that, and are not going to be influenced by the big money that might push them to do other things that are going to put us more in debt. They're going to raise our taxes and make it harder for the average Midlander to leave here or to live here, because they may have to leave here, right? I hear all the time from people that, they retire and, they have to leave because they can't afford to stay in Midland. And how sad is that? Wouldn't it be so much better if we can have an affordable Midland where people can live here, they can make a living. They can make a living doing the things that we want people to be able to make a living doing, like being police officers and firemen and nurses and, all of the things that we say, oh, we want all of this stuff in Midland. Well, we got to have it affordable. We got to have it, a place where we can have those people live here. And if you're not making bukus of money in the oil field, Midland is still a place that you can, have a good life.
Yeah, and I feel like it used to be like that. I mean, 2011, around there, like it was like normal people could have a regular job, have a house, and I saw it like kind of from like my wife's family. People like they didn't work in oil field, but whenever prices went up, they suffered, and I felt bad for that, because this is where they were born at, this is where their family's from, and then like they're struggling to make it, just because of all this oil, And I get it, it's oil and all that stuff, but it killed a lot of the people here. You know what I'm saying? It hurt them, I think. So I get what you're saying on that.
Yeah. And we need to respect Midland, right? And so we have we don't want to be in a position where we have big companies that are just taking advantage of our city, of our infrastructure and our resources, and that that's leaving, and which I think is what is happening and has happened, is that we are left with poor roads, poor infrastructure, higher taxes, and higher debt. And, for what? We deserve better, and we could have better if we respect that and are focused and prioritized on that.
Yeah. I think you're right. I mean, we get used and abused in a way. I mean, you think about the people traveling in and out here every 2 weeks on rotations. It's like, I think Kerry said like 20,000 or something. It was crazy, man. And I was like thinking like, they come here, they use it, and then they leave. They just come here for work, right? But it's like, we get used and abused, and we just get left, we're all stuck here. Like, so I see what you're saying on that part, man. I think, respect would be kind of nice, you know what I'm saying? Or, I don't know, it's crazy all the money that's here in this town. And it's like the things we have to pay for. Like, I've seen my taxes go up on my housing and like my mortgage, and I don't like that. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, it kind of made me upset, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't want any more taxes, That's just me, though.
Yeah, and I know the state government is getting quite a bit involved in the taxation of the citizens of different cities. I know Odessa is on that list currently because of the new tax hike that they were adding. I don't know much about that. I didn't see anything about Midland there. But I know that the state government, do you know much about that, or what exactly is going on with that?
Well, for Odessa, they did raise taxes. They raised the way property taxes work, and I'll try to make this short. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but except that it's not something that we think about a whole lot, right? But you've got your rate, your property tax rate, times the value of your property, of your home. And that's the amount of tax that you pay. The value is set by the appraisal district. And so, and you get a notice every year that says, hey, this is what your property appraised for. And then what happens is the appraisal district takes all of those values, they add them all up, and they give it to the city, and they say, okay, all of the properties in the city, they add up to this value. And so then the city can decide, okay, what tax rate are we going to set so that we get the amount of tax revenue that we need for this next year. And so, so the city will then, they can raise the rate or they can lower the rate, but really what matters is the end result of that, right? So you could, if the values go way up, but the tax rate goes down, well, you can still end up paying more, which is exactly what happened in this past year. So in whole, in Midland, we lowered tax rates, and the mayor will tell you that she's lowered tax rates for every year that she's been in office. But because the values have increased, we've actually seen an increase in taxes every year that she's been in office.
Right.
So in Odessa, not only did, I'm not sure exactly on the details of their values and everything, but they actually raised the rate, right? So the rate is actually higher. Their values may be higher also. So they're looking at a tax increase over there for sure. And they are not up to date, as I understand it. They're not up to date on their audits of their annual financial statements. And so the legislature passed a new law that said, if you're not up to date on your audits, you can't raise taxes. And so they're in a dispute with the attorney general about that.
Okay. Yeah, I had no idea exactly what went on with that, but I was very curious about it because I know they were mentioned. And, you know,
that's a lot of stuff too.
It's a lot.
That's wild. You know, that's the thing about taxes. And then being a CPA, I'm sure it's like, it's got to be it's a lot of numbers and legislation and stuff. I mean, right? I mean, is it hard to do your job and then try to, you know what I mean? It seems like a lot.
Yeah. Well, I love it. I mean, when we start talking about these sorts of things, you know, it's just, I tell my wife, you know, numbers tell a story to me, right? When you're looking at the numbers, you look at financials, they're telling you a story. You know, it's in different language maybe, right? And so you need to understand the language and be fluent in the language. But if you are, then you can glean a lot from that. And I love it. I love to look at the numbers and look at all that stuff. And a big part of my job has been, that's doing that for, like I said, the last 25 years. So it's great.
That's wild, man. So I'm asking a question. So I know what kind of where you're at, but you don't support any of this woke ideology stuff.
Oh my goodness!
I just don't want no drag shows going on, kid drag show down the road. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to get on that point. And how are you about that? I
mean, any reasonable person, right? We don't need drag shows. I'm a faithful Christian. I believe very much that we need to be truthful about who we are as humans. We are. There's men and women, right? And we need to be really respectful of sexuality with our kids. I mean, whether it's LGBT, whatever all of that stuff is, or just sex, right? I mean, we need to be respectful of them, and we need to be modest. We need to be. I don't like any of that, and especially when you get into a lot of this woke stuff, it's just unacceptable for our kids to be exposed to that sort of thing. I mean, we can't allow it. There's no rationale in my mind for exposing kids to that sort of thing, and we just can't do it.
Yeah, privacy should be
that's
top of the list, man.
Absolutely.
What you do in private is your deal. Don't make it public, and
don't push it on our kids. And that's why I kind of wanted to see, like, and I know it's not just, it's everybody, like, Republicans in general, you're conservative and you're a faithful man, right? I mean, that's what I like to hear. Like, I think one thing, like a lot of people like me, yes, we know politics and stuff like that, but we want to know exactly where you stand when it comes to that, right? Because that is important to us too, because I think some people, they don't really get involved with their local politics, and then this person gets involved. He gets elected, and then all of a sudden you got crazy stuff going on. Yeah. And I think that's one thing, like people like me and this guy here, we love Midland. We don't mind a little change here and there, but we want it to stay Midland. You know what I'm saying? Right. And that's what we like about it.
Yeah, and like I said, I kind of toe the line. I toe the line because I do like to see, as a Midlander myself, and I'm a first generation American, right? But I love Midland. And I've chosen multiple times not to leave Midland when I've been given opportunities elsewhere. My wife's family's from here, and I do like to see Midland grow. It's not. I think people sometimes get confused with the fact that that we say sometimes that certain things are just probably not a good idea. And that it makes us, oh, you're just stuck in the past or something of that nature. I don't think that's what it is. I think we definitely want Midland to grow. We definitely want it to be nice. Everybody wants something nicer and better and everything, but I think we do understand after what you're telling us exactly how the financials affect the city. Now, with all that being said, and obviously all of us probably like the city to grow and look good and everything, what are some things that you think are good? Like, for example, the soccer fields. I'm very happy with the soccer fields being built and all of that. The sports complex, which is, we all know, as Diamondback doing stuff like that. How do you balance that, right? Because there are good things being done, and it's good for our kids and our community, but maybe they don't make good financial sense. Are there times where you will say to yourself, this is good for the city, even though it's going to cost us? And is it just a case of tell the city the truth, tell the people the truth, and stand behind it? Like you said, pick a side, right? And do you feel like that's something you could see yourself doing, or you are going to be like strictly financially responsible? What do you think?
Well, I'm always going to be fiscally responsible, financially responsible, right? That to me, you can't not do that. Now,
Right.
That doesn't mean that we're not going to spend money on things that are important for Midland, right? So being fiscally, financially responsible does not mean never spending money.
Right.
Okay, I think that's just a sort of a lazy attack that, people come at me like, oh,
Yeah.
well, you don't want anything good. You just want to cut everything. Well, no, I want us to be responsible about how we use our money. So when we look at how we're going to spend it, if it comes to soccer fields or parks or, any project, we need to look at what it is, how that fits in with what Midlanders as a whole want, right? And so, and we need to make sure that it financially makes sense. And all of that comes back to being honest about what the project entails. And so we cannot hide the true cost of things. We cannot hide what it is that we're really doing, who all is involved, who's going to benefit. All of that needs to be out on the table, right? And so, and what I've seen is that we do hide those things, right? We say, okay, well, we're going to do this project, and we've got, an oil company is going to come and give us $10 million. And so if we don't participate, we don't put city money in, then we're not going to get that $10 million. Yeah, but the city's putting in 3 times that amount of money. Okay, well, maybe we don't, maybe it's not worth it, right? Maybe that's not a good project for us if we're going to be on the hook for more than what it makes sense for us to do. Right. And maybe, that money could be spent in another way, even if it means we're not going to have a contribution from an oil company. And maybe if we have good, strong leadership in place, we can have conversations with the oil companies or any business that's interested in partnering with the city in doing things that we would rather be spending that money on or would be a better benefit for us, right?
Yeah.
So we've got to have strong leaders that are focused on doing what's best for Midland and being open and honest about the costs and benefits of the projects that come to us.
Okay, that's pretty good. I mean, that's a lot, and that does happen. I know I've seen that a lot, quite a few times when it comes to the money given to us, and then we put more money in it. So, I mean, that is pretty good. I wanted to ask you this too, though. Like, how has your life changed, like, good or bad, since you've been running for mayor? Like, have you seen a big difference in that?
Well, that's a good question. It's been really rewarding to hear from people, and I guess I didn't really expect it, right? When I announced and I started talking, about all the campaign and everything, and I've had so many people reach out to me that are encouraged and supportive and are glad. I mean, they say, "I'm so glad that you're running. I'm so glad that you're running. We need change. We need somebody like you in office," and that has been just amazing to hear. And it's really, it's really motivating, right? And gives me strength and courage to go out there and have this fight. And because it is a fight, right? And that is the hard part of it. And so I hate that people have come at me, like I said earlier, people have come at me with lies and, try to tear me down. And that, that's not a fun thing to have to go through. But at the end of the day, it's really about fighting for Midland, and the support that I've gotten and I've received from people has been really inspirational, really motivating for me. It's been great. And, at the end of the day, I want the best for Midland. My wife and I we talk about, of course, this every day.
Yeah.
And this is, it's really important to us for our family, for our kids, for everything that we do this. And so, that is really rewarding to be able to go out there and fight for Midland.
Yeah. Great question. Great answer, man. And I feel the passion. And I mean, there's not much more that anybody could ask for. Anybody who's watching who watches the actual video. Some people just listen to it, and a lot of the workers that are out there, they just listen to it, right? But yeah, man, we see the passion, we hear the passion, and that's always great. No matter which way this goes, the fact that you've taken it upon yourself to help lead the fight, as you say. For what you believe is great, man, and I can only say thank you for giving us this time, and man, it's been a really good conversation, and hopefully people get a lot of the information that they want from this. We're gonna you got any last comments or anything you want?
I mean, I think you're right. I think it's good to see somebody going against it, because if it's showing that people are catching on. If there is anything going bad, and there is stuff going that we know that they're hiding in a way, that we were there that we're seeing it and we're fighting against it. So I think it's good to see you really putting a voice on it and shining a light on it in a way. You know what I'm saying? So, and I want to say, like, I wish you the best luck running too. I mean, it's got to be a lot of work, a lot of stress.
Yeah.
I can only imagine, man. You know what I'm saying? So, and thank you again for coming. We're gonna put all your links on the bottom of our of the descriptions and all that stuff.
And real quick, the debate you guys are going to be debating. Can you give us information on the debate?
Yes, we'll have a debate on October 14th at 6:00 on PBS.
Okay.
They'll have it on TV, and then I believe they'll put it on Facebook also.
Okay.
Yeah, October 14th, we'll have that debate. And then please go to my website. I've got juddformidland.com. I've got information there. You can reach out to me there, my phone number, contact, email me. Please do. I want to hear from people. If you have anything at all that you want to talk to me about, I would love to hear from you. So go look there.
Nice.
Awesome, man.
You got any last words before we end this, or?
Well, I'm really excited for Midland, right? I mean, at the end of the day, this is about making Midland better, and we can do it. And the people are in power, right? You have the vote, and we got to go vote. And so that's the most important thing. And if you exercise your voice in that way, and your voice is louder in your local elections than they are in any other elections, you can really make a difference. So if people will go vote, I really ask you to do that. Obviously, I want you to vote for me. Election day is November 4th. October 20th, early voting starts. It goes for 2 weeks. So starting on October 20th, and then election day, November 4th. So please go vote. And please vote for me. I would love that too. And let's do what's best for Midland.
Awesome, man. So everybody get out there and vote, man. And if you see fit, vote for Mr. Judd Campbell, man. You just heard from the man himself. He's a really good man, really good guy. The Patch Boys obviously will be listening to or talking to Miss Lori Blong, the incumbent mayoral candidate, and we'll go from there. And you'll be hearing from us, and I'm sure we'll be in touch. Ricky will put out all the information. So, man, exercise your right to vote, guys. That's the number one thing, no matter who you're going for or who you vote for. At least exercise your right to vote, man. And we appreciate you guys listening. Also, I want to thank you. Thank you, Judd. And hopefully I call you Judd now. I wanted to say Mr. Campbell, but I feel like it's a little bit too formal now after this conversation we had. So I want to call you Judd.
You're
and
good.
I want to thank God for putting this together, putting us together, and having us here at this time and having this great conversation. So,
Amen.
And shout out to everybody that's listening. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. I appreciated you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate y'all.
Yes.
All right, guys, check out our sponsor, Underdog Wireline. I know you heard of them, but I'm going to remind you guys, they offer wireline services from anything from open hole to completion. They do logging, they do frac jobs, they do about pretty much anything you want. They also offer layout machines. They got a slick line. They even got a torquing test now. So, give these guys a call. We're going to have all the links in the description below us. Give them a shout out. They're a local business out of Midland, Texas, and they really are a great company, man. So, show them support like you support us. Appreciate it.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Patch Boys again, here to announce yet another sponsor, Branded 14 Hot Shot Services LLC. They offer hot shot work, ESP spooling, ESP technician service, and heavy hauling with semis. These guys are local. They're helping us out, so we want to help them out. Go give them a call at 432-638-1755. All the other information we're going to put right down here, so you guys can give them a call, send them an email, however you need to get in contact with them. We appreciate it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Patch Boys here. Blessed again to be announcing another sponsor for us. This one's going to be Titan. They're running out of crane. They're real close to me. It's family. So we want you guys to support them like they support us, right? So they're running out of crane. If you want to get in contact with them, it's 432-307-1960. Some of the stuff that they offer right now, if they have rustabout maintenance crews, trash trailers, porta potties, combo trailers, forklifts, and they're adding more stuff every single day. So if you guys want to support them so they can continue to support us and give you all the content that you want, go ahead and give them a call. Thank you.